Welcome back to CryptosRus. I'm George. We're all George. So welcome to another market open stream today. Let's look at Bitcoin, U.S. markets, what's going on with the economy, and also what's going on with Coinbase, slapped with a few more lawsuits. So there are three major ones going on right now. So let's talk about all these things and more. So, welcome, guys. Looking at the U.S. market, a bell is about to ring. Give it a few more seconds. It's looking like it's going to be red once again. Right now, the U.S. market looking weaker. All these earning reports, even though they've been pretty good. I mean, it's actually, I should take that back. It's mixed. It's mixed. So, I mean, look at it. Uber right there reported, and they beat expectations, most probably because Uber Eats and their food delivery. But, I mean, but then you have, Morgan Stanley right over here saying they're cutting 3,000 jobs, right? So it's kind of mixed. I've been hearing a lot about big tech doing well, okay, but everyone else kind of struggling. And big banks doing well and all the other banks struggling. So the bigger boys are doing better than the smaller companies. So kind of makes sense, right? But overall, people are very uneasy about what's going on currently. So this week has not been good. Obviously, there's fears. I covered this last night about the debt ceiling. Is the U.S. going to default? That would be absolutely catastrophic if it happens. So most likely not. But in order to raise the debt ceiling, there has to be agreement. Congress has to approve. And then, well, the Fed gets to turn up their money printing machine once again and print some more money so that the government can continue to operate. So we have this going on also. Not immediate threat, but you know what? It's coming up. June is right around the corner. So it's not like something we could put off. Although this was talked about in December, and I said most likely no one's going to pay attention until the very, the month beforehand. And I was right, because we had like 6 months that this could have been debated over, but no, it's being debated now, like last minute. Once again, not unusual, but that's just how the U.S. Congress is. So we got the debt ceiling to worry about, and also we got the Fed to worry about. Look at this. It's looking bad. There's a 6.5% chance now that Fed Chair Powell is not going to be raising rates. Now it's a crazy 93.5% chance we will get another 25 basis points. This is despite the fact we had the second largest bank seizure, First Republic Bank, okay? And this is coming off of the third largest and the fourth largest. We had three major banks go under due to rates, yet Powell's expected to continue to raise rates to fight inflation. See, everything that's being done is counterintuitive. Even though he's raising rates to fight inflation, you know what's adding to inflation? Well, the debts. The debt and debt ceiling. If you print another $2 trillion, yeah, that's going to make inflation go up. So you have a lot of things working that are counterintuitive to each other. And obviously, rates also affect businesses. That's why businesses are starting to lay off people, right? But yeah, you got a lot of stuff going on right now. That's why it's kind of fearful. But tomorrow we will get that big FOMC press conference once again. We always have a good time with those press conferences. I'll live stream it for you guys. But yeah, we have this to look forward to tomorrow. Any surprises out of Powell? Right, I'm sure he's going to have to address First Republic Bank. Last time we had it, he had to address SV Bank that went under. And he's like, oh, we're going to wait and see. Well, now he's going to be addressing First Republic too. So one after another, we got big banks falling one after another. So not good. Not good overall. But, here's what's also worse. That basically the banking system is becoming nationalized. What does that mean? Well, you figure FDIC and Fed is forcing all these mergers and taking on a whole lot of debt, right? But if you look at it, basically Look at the top banks in the U.S. And according to this, the top 15 banks control 75% of the deposits in the U.S. Banks overall from the 1920s went from 31,000 banks in the U.S. to 4,100 banks today. So basically, the bigger banks are being incentivized to swallow up the smaller banks. And you know the Fed has very close ties with all these big boys. In fact, the Fed bailed all of them out in 2008. Had they not done that, even the big boys would be gone, right? So, bottom line is, this is another case why we need to turn to Bitcoin, okay? You're getting a smaller number of banks, you could call them the elites, that hold everyone's money. But can you really trust them? Right? Can you really trust them to look out for you, the little guy? I would say no. They're looking out for themselves, looking out for their bottom line. Okay? And when they screwed up, you know what? They have Big Brother, the Fed, to bail them out. But you know what? The Fed and what they're doing with their money printing and their loaning, that's coming out of your pocket. Okay? Coming out of your pocket, not theirs. So, it's not a good situation. That's why, you know, people are turning to Bitcoin. This is exactly why Bitcoin was created. So here's an interesting story, and I can relate to this story. I don't know who this person is, but it sounds pretty legit. Basically, he was denied by JP Morgan Chase. He's just trying to send a $60,000 wire, which is a large amount, I get. But, you know, whenever you want to send any amount like this with your bank, you get questioned left and right. Okay, and there's so many loopholes. It's just like it gets to a ridiculous point. So first they ask you, well, where is it going to? Well, then you have to verify it's a business account, but they're like, but it's not in your name. Well, yeah, okay, but I'm telling you it's my business account, right? But you're setting it from a computer I don't recognize. Well, I'm telling you it's me, but no, we can't do it, right? It goes back and forth. And then they also ask you, why are you sending it? You know, they're asking a whole bunch of questions. It makes you wonder, do they really need to know all that? Because if you're sending 60,000 with Bitcoin, no one questions you. Okay, no one stops you. No one questions you. No one questions your motives or the reason why you're sending. You're able to do it. That's the point of a decentralized network where you act as your own bank and everyone else as a wallet acts like their own bank. Okay, but you know, this KYC or whatever anti-money laundering laws or whatever else, the curiosity, really just, it's getting overboard. That's why you even have Congress people that have developed laser eyes, right? Warren Davidson from Ohio, even he responded to that tweet and said Bitcoin fixes this. In order to keep spying on American citizens on every transaction, authoritarians want to make all the money accounts based where a third party, they can control filters your transactions. Permissionless peer-to-peer transactions are essential component to sound money. Basically, he's arguing, yes, you have Bitcoin, you don't have this kind of problem. And then he also goes on and says CBDCs are basically evil. Evil. Basically, central banks want even more information from its citizens. And I've said this too. CBDCs are not to be trusted. Okay? It's a way for governments to track you even more so than they do now with cash. So, I mean, even Congress people are starting to develop laser eyes. There's a lot of people now really starting to see that, yeah, Bitcoin is the way. Bitcoin is true way to protect yourself, to attain financial freedom, personal freedom, property freedom. It's the way. It's the way, right? And you know, there are actually some banks that recognize, well, maybe we need to get in. Maybe we shouldn't wait until we collapse. So you have digital bank Revolt, I think that's how you say it, that's offering crypto investments in Brazil, but they're not the only ones. I've covered stories about other banks that's getting involved, even MasterCard getting involved, Visa getting involved, right? Everyone is getting involved. These guys all know you don't want to wait until last minute to transist, or you will be dead, left in the water. So adoption is still growing, which is awesome. That's what we want. That's what we want. So Bitcoin, you know, the fundamentals never been better. Hash rate has jumped up, the largest 5-day increase ever in Bitcoin's history. Just think about that. The miners are pressing away. Addresses continue to go up. And the fundamentals, again, have never been better. And everything I've been covering about what's going on with inflation, with the Fed, with banks, with KYC and all that, right? That is the reason why more and more people are turning to Bitcoin. And this is where we are in our current cycle. We are definitely recovering and waiting for the new cycle top. That will be probably arriving in 2025-ish. So, but we're getting closer and closer to the halving event, which is going to happen in 2024. So we're all patiently waiting for that to come. Now, other news, of course, the big one is Coinbase. Coinbase slapped with 2 more lawsuits. Okay, this is on top of the Wells notice, which is not an official lawsuit from the SEC, but it's a warning from the SEC saying we may be suing you. Okay, and then Coinbase slapped SEC with a lawsuit because they're demanding an answer for a question that Coinbase posed them last year, which is, do security laws govern crypto, basically? And it should be a simple yes or no, but Gary Gensler refuses to acknowledge that. But anyways, these 2 lawsuits are more outside the SEC, but kind of serious. First of all, you have someone that's suing Mark Andreessen, which is one of the biggest shareholders of Coinbase, and Brian Armstrong for both dumping a ton of stock after they got listed. And then the person is complaining that, you know, they knew that bad news were coming, so they pre-dumped ahead of time. I'm not so sure that that person actually knows that for sure. When Coinbase came out, everyone was talking about Coinbase, right? Even Jim Cramer saying, you know, Coinbase at 300 looks cheap. Everyone was on the hype train. So I don't know if anyone really knew that bad things were coming, and then that's why some of these guys sold. A lot of these guys sold because now they want to be billionaires, enjoy their yachts and whatever, right? So that's the first lawsuit. But then the second lawsuit is alleging that a couple of executives inside, right, they took advantage of these listings, right? We know they're called Coinbase effect, and they basically, you know, inside trading. They're accused of inside trading. And I think that's actually real because we know for sure. There have been times in the past where before listing happens, something pumps, and then all of a sudden the listing happens. We saw that many different times throughout 2017. And even, I don't know if it happened in 2021, but I know it happened a lot in 2017 and throughout some years. But anyways, those are 2 major lawsuits that's happening. I think the first one probably thrown out. The second one, however, some executives could be charged. And I think there was another executive that was charged already. But regardless, is Coinbase a good buy? Well, ARK Invest, Kathy Wood still says, yeah, I don't care. I don't care about all this stuff. I'm still very bullish on Coinbase and Bitcoin and crypto overall, and they decided to put another $8 million in Coinbase shares. So some people like to criticize Kathy Wood, saying that she wants to be like savior of companies, and she'll just continue to be bullish and put in more and more money. And sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. So we'll see if this is the right path. But all this talk about Coinbase moving off U.S. soil into some other country, well, hopefully that doesn't come. Coinbase is very vital to the growth of Bitcoin and crypto in this country, and we don't want to see it ever leaving. And then finally, we may get some good news next week because there's some kind of secret meeting happening between Ripple and the SEC. Okay, now, every time there's some kind of secret meeting or undisclosed meeting, people are speculating that, hey, this may be a settlement or something breaking. But of course, we have waited for years upon years upon years and nothing has happened. So we don't know if this is actually happening. But if it does, and the SEC caves and settles with Ripple, it could be absolutely monumental for the entire crypto space. Not just for Ripple, but everyone in this space. Okay, at this point, if Ripple and Brad Garlinghouse recognizes that they are going to win and the SEC is trying to save face, they should not settle and just continue forward and make the SEC lose face and make Gary Gensler or humble Gary Gensler a little bit. I'm hoping that's the case, but probably not, because they probably don't want this to drag on even longer. It's been a couple years now. When this first came out, I said it on my show. I'm like, this is going to last 2 to 3 years. And people laughed, saying, no, this will get settled in like a few months, 6 months. I'm like, no way. It's going to take 2 to 3 years. And we're about 2 to 3 years. We're about 2 years, 2.5 years in. So it's about time, right? But I'm hoping that Ripple just doesn't settle. I'm hoping that they actually say, no, go F yourself. We're going to win and make you look bad. And then that's going to help the entire crypto industry. So that makes it so that Ripple can't just go after any company that they deem. They'll think twice at least, right? So I'm hoping that happens, but we'll see. Next week we'll have this secret, undisclosed meeting. Although if it's so secret and so undisclosed, I don't know how people found out about it in the first place. So we got that to look forward to as well. All right. Yeah, I saw this headline too. You got this learning company called Chegg. The shares dropped 40% because they reported horrible numbers, and they say it's because of ChatGPT, because no one wants to learn anything anymore when they could just go on ChatGPT and get all the information. That's actually kind of funny. All right, let's do some Q&A. All right, let's see if I miss anything here. Is a Pepe Binance listing coming? Steven asks. Well, they're still holding. They're still holding at like 400, 500 million market cap, which is amazing. It's really hard for meme coins not to dump, and it hasn't dumped yet. So it's gotten so big, I think Binance listing is coming. That's what I'm thinking. Crypto Dream, no regrets. Good. Okay, still looking. John Deaton was saying, even if a judge rules that Ripple wins, Ripple might still settle afterwards just to avoid an appeal by the SEC. Yes, that makes sense. Again, I mean, the SEC has been appealing everything left and right, so I don't know if they really... I think Ripple would just want this to end, right? Basically, it's about saving face. Gary Gensler does not want to look like they lost. So what probably, if I'm speculating, just like the previous lawsuits where the SEC just settled, they will probably say something like, okay, we're fining Ripple like $2 million or something like that for legal token offering, but leave it vague and they don't declare XRP as security. I think that's probably what's going to happen, and Ripple will gladly pay that because they just want to move on with their business, right? But the SEC is probably going to leave it very open so that, I don't know, so it doesn't look like they lost. Again, I'm no lawyer, but I just remember the case with EOS and Tezos. Both of them won against the SEC, and it took a couple of years, and basically same thing happened. They paid a few $1 million, and that's it. When you see volume picking up, well, it's still, you know, as much excitement there has been so far this year, it's important to remember that Bitcoin is still very low, okay? So we're barely off the bottom, and that is the bottom, right? That was December and moving the first week of January. Even though we're 4 months in, and in crypto, sometimes it seems like it's eternity every single month, but it's important to remember that we're just barely off the ground right now. So volume is definitely not back in full force. There's no retail FOMO just yet, but for sure, the institutions are making moves. There's a lot of behind the scenes buying right now. You could see the exchange reserves are going down, and a lot of infrastructure is being built right now, and the fundamentals of Bitcoin has never been better. So volume will pick up when it's ready to. When the market gets better and people are now less fearful and they start putting all their money back in. It will come, but gotta be patient. IBM CEO just said we will pause hiring for roles that AI could do. This could replace 7,800 jobs per Bloomberg. I mean, I don't think people realize how many companies now are trying to integrate with OpenAI and utilize this big brain of theirs to do so many things. This is really an explosion of AI. You know how like the iPhone kind of exploded in the mobile market? ChatGPT and OpenAI, I believe, is that same kind of turning point, or the same, like the Pandora's box have been opened on AI. And it could definitely lead to a lot of layoffs. A lot of people's jobs, you know, could be taken from ChatGPT and tools that come from it. So I don't doubt that. Do you think there's a chance that only BTC picks up and everything else remains anemic for a long time? No. No. The landscape has changed. It's not like before. There's no dark mode on CNBC. I have 98% in my Ledger and Trust wallet, but is keeping some crypto in Coinbase safe. I mean, it's as safe as possible. I mean, it's still not 100% safe, but as for exchange, I'd say Coinbase is right at the top in terms of safeness. So yes, if you want to trade a little bit, leave a little bit there. I think it's okay. Although you have the right idea, self-custody is the safest. It's been 8 months already. Since what? Oh, since being a member? Thanks. Thanks for being a member for 8 months. I think so. Someone saying replacing doctors too. I think a lot of the family doctors will probably be replaced with ChatGPT. I mean, a lot of family doctor diagnoses are so simple. You know, I'm sure AI can diagnose many, many things that a family doctor can diagnose. Surgeries, of course, won't be replaced, but like simple diagnosis, I could see that happening. Can you get taxed for swapping coins? You certainly can. Any kind of swapping is a taxable event. New member, welcome. Welcome. I need a branded Pepe. By the way, tomorrow I'll have another Twitter Spaces. My idea is to invite meme coin projects and have them debate each other on which one is the best. I was thinking about that. I think that would be a very, very hot topic, but not sure if I can get a lot of the major meme coins to come on and debate. I sent Pepe a DM, didn't get a response back. I sent Floki one, but they're like too corporate now. They're like, oh, email us a proposal. I'm like, get out of here, all right? You either want to join or you don't. I don't know who else. Did I PPF my car? No, not yet. It's just sitting in the garage. I have not done anything to it. I want to tint it and do some kind of paint protection. They also have some kind of paint coating thing, like this rubberized thing that you could spray on the front or install. I haven't done that yet. I own 15 different coins. Is that too many? No, it's not, as long as you keep tracking them. Tax events have killed my desire to use crypto for purchases. Well, that's one reason, yeah. Yeah. If you don't sell, you don't trade, it's not taxable. But if you do, it is taxable. Jose. Yeah, it's slowed down this week, so there's not much to show. But yeah, it is very exciting. Every little thing is very exciting. But I think we got most of it through, everything picked out. So there's very little that we still have to decide on. Should I remove my 20K portfolio from Coinbase? Here's the thing. It sounds like you don't know how to use a self-custody wallet. So learn that first. Because it doesn't matter if you transfer from Coinbase to Binance to Kraken to Gemini. It's all centralized exchanges. They control your keys, right? Learn how to utilize a wallet that you control first. Then you can transfer to your wallet and there's no concerns. So learn that first. Which bank is in trouble or almost in trouble? That's a good question. I don't know the next bank. I mean, we just had JP Morgan swallow up First Republic, right? And you still have these big boys that command such a large amount of deposits. So Charles Schwab, once upon a time, had a lot of issues too. But this is top 10. You know, what about some that's a little bit lower, like 11 through 20, right? They could be struggling. The bigger ones are okay, but the smaller ones, they're really struggling. They're really struggling. How much ETH should I own in a 5K portfolio? I don't know. You decide. It could be all 5K. It could be no K. You decide. Can you store cash in a Ledger wallet? No. You could store stable coins, but you can't store cash. But stable coins, certainly. The U.S. doesn't overspend. They undertax. No. No. There's no one in the U.S. that feels like they are being undertaxed. Not one person. So I 100% disagree with you. OG, George, the only reason why Uber is doing so well because they take more than 50% or 60% from a driver. I checked it personally. They said they only take 25%, but that is a lie. I've heard that too. You're not the first person that reported that. I've heard from many Uber drivers that after, you know, a fare or delivery or whatever, they end up with very little. Almost to a point where it's like break even for them if you calculate the cost of depreciation on their car and you know, oil changes and gas that they use and all that stuff. So as a professional Uber driver, like if that's your daily job, it could be bad. But if you're just doing it part-time, you know, may not be that bad. But I hear that too. But you know what that's going, that basically that kind of price gouging from Uber is go force people just go do something else. Go do DoorDash instead or be an Amazon driver, you know, delivery guy for Amazon. So they have to watch out. Have I had the Macallan 12 Sherry Oak? No. No. I'm actually not a big fan of Macallan. I like blended scotch instead. I also like oh, what was that? I forgot the name of this other one that I tried recently I like. Corvette or Porsche? Well, if you can afford it, go with Porsche. Otherwise, just go with the Corvette. This Corvette is an amazing bargain, but there's no Porsche. Or Porsche, however you want to say it. All right, guys, let's conclude. Overall, U.S. market not looking good today. More red every single day. And that's because there are a lot of things to worry about. The debt ceiling, the U.S. may default. That'll be horrible. You got the Fed meeting that's coming up tomorrow. Hopefully it's not even worse than expected. You got banks that's still collapsing. Oh, man, there's just so many things. And then now you got Coinbase lawsuits happening, right? Can't seem to catch a break. But all these things strengthens the cause for decentralized network, a decentralized crypto, decentralized wallet, decentralized everything, basically, right? And that's why we're in Bitcoin. So stay strong, my friends. I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.